Don't talk, just listen." The voice was gravel and smoke, cutting sharper than the rain that dripped off the Ravenwood street lamps. Lieutenant Kara Holt froze mid-step, patrol car door still yawning open behind her. The man leaning against the alley wall looked like nothing more than the city's forgotten coach shredded. Beard tangled, hair plastered to his face, but his eyes, those eyes burned like coals in the dark. Not wild, not drunk, calculating. At his knee, a German shepherd tensed, hackles raised, the kind of posture no street mutt held. The growl in its chest vibrated through the puddles at Kara's boots. Her hand brushed her holster. Training screamed at her to take control, to bark commands. But that tone the command buried in his whisper froze her spine. She'd heard it before, in uniformed voices, in men who'd been under fire. The rain ticked harder, running down dumpsters, filling cracks in the pavement. The man's scarred hand lifted, finger trembling but deliberate, pointing just past her shoulder. He's been there the whole time. He rasped, "Watched you pull up. Followed you." Kara pivoted. Flashlight beam slicing through the wet dark. For a heartbeat. Only shadows. Then scuff. A shoe sliding on slick asphalt. The shepherd's growl snapped into a full bark. A figure broke from cover. Steel flashing in the jaundiced streetlight. Knife. The blade lunged straight for her chest. Kara's weapon cleared leather in a single. Trained motion. But before she could fire, the ragged man's voice cracked like a gunshot. "Don't shoot, knife time, stretched thin." Badge. Gun. Instinct collided in her veins. And then the shadow of a man society had buried coat in rags. Beard like wire moved with the precision of a storm. He launched from the wall, shoulder driving into the attacker, both bodies smashing into puddles in a spray of water. Kara's sights locked on the chaos. Finger on the trigger, breath frozen. One impossible choice: fire or trust the warning of a homeless man she had never seen before. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. Let's see how far our brotherhood reaches. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss these gripping and powerful military stories. The cuffs clinked shut on the knife-wielding attacker. Patrol backup dragged him into the night, curses echoing. Kara kept her weapon lowered, but her eyes fixed on the man who had saved her, the ragged figure now bleeding from a slice across his forearm. His dog pressed against him, protective, ears pinned. Kara crouched closer, rain dripping off the brim of her cap. "Name?" she asked. He hesitated, as if searching for a word he hadn't used in years. "Marcus," he said finally, voice like gravel under boots. The dog nudged his leg. Kara read the tag on its collar. Ghost. Fitting. "You need a hospital." "No hospitals," Marcus snapped. "Too sharp, too fast." That wasn't fear of pain. That was fear of being seen. Kara didn't argue. She grabbed a blanket from her trunk, held it out. He took it without thanks, shoulders hunching as if every motion cost him, and then her eyes caught it half buried in grime. Glinting as rain slid down his chest, a pair of dog tags. Scratched, weathered, still legible. USMC 037 Scout Sniper. The puzzle slammed into place. This wasn't just a drifter. This was a Marine. That night, long after her shift ended, Kara sat in the precinct's empty records room. The glow of the screen painted her face pale as she dug. Marcus Kane, 41. Scout Sniper, Marine Corps, Fallujah, 2 tours, commendations, wounds, honorable discharge. But the last line said more than the medals, separated, unfit for further duty. The silence of the room filled with ghosts. Images formed in her head, rotors thrashing dust across desert rooftops. Sniper rifles cracking through smoke. Marines dragging brothers out of alleys while mortars shook the earth. And those eyes, the same ones she'd seen in the rain, haunted but steady, as if still locked on a target only he could see. Days later, she found him again, Under an overpass, Ghost curled tight at his side, Marcus staring at the river like it owed him answers. Kara eased down beside him, ignoring the stink of diesel and wet asphalt. "You're a Marine," she said. His gaze didn't flicker. You didn't move like a homeless man that night." Kara pressed. "You moved like a sniper." For the first time. His mouth twitched, something between a grimace and a smile. "Instincts don't die, even when you want them to," before Kara could answer. Ghost's ears snapped forward. A low growl rumbling, Marcus's eyes sharpened, scanning the shadows, shoulders tensed, rain dripping from his jawline. He wasn't just seeing the underpass. He was back on patrol, and Kara realized this man wasn't simply broken. He was still wired for war. The underpass reeked of diesel, wet concrete, and something sourer territory claimed. Kara felt it before she saw them. Figures sliding from the shadows, hoods up, shoulders squared like predators circling, 5 of them, young, reckless, the kind who thought knives bought them crowns. "Look at this," one sneered, eyes sweeping Marcus, old war trash and his mutt. The metallic click of a blade snapped open. It echoed against dripping walls like a starter's pistol. Ghost stiffened, hackles high, teeth bared. A growl rumbled through his chest like distant thunder. Kara's hand hovered near her holster. "Police, step back." Her voice cracked against the concrete, authority rolling, but Marcus's arm shot out, barring her path. His gaze never wavered from the pack. "Don't. That's what they want." The leader chuckled. "Nice dog. Think we'll take him." He stepped closer, blade glinting. Ghost erupted, barking so hard the gang flinched, but the knives didn't lower. Another boy shoved Marcus hard in the chest. He stumbled but caught himself against the wall, scars tightening across his face. "I've had worse," Marcus muttered. The words dropped like lead. For the first time. The bravado cracked. One kid's eyes darted from Kara's badge to Marcus's unmoving stare, like he was beginning to see what lay behind the ragged coat. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance, growing louder. Cops one hissed. The pack scattered, curses trailing into the rain. The leader spat once at the ground and bolted after them. Silence fell, broken only by Ghost's panting. Kara holstered her weapon. Moving to Marcus, blood dripped from a reopened cut on his arm, fresh bruises shadowing his cheek. "Sit," she ordered, already pulling her kit from the cruiser. "I'm fine." The words were hard. "Automatic." "No, you're not." She pressed gauze to the wound, her voice steel. "You saved me once. Tonight, I save you. That's how this works." For the first time. Resistance left his gaze. His shoulders slumped, exhaustion carving deeper lines across his face. Minutes passed in silence, rain ticking steady. Then Marcus reached into his coat and pulled out a folded scrap of paper. He handed it over. Slow, like it weighed too much. Kara unfolded it. Her own handwriting stared back. "Stay safe. You matter." The note she'd tucked near his blanket nights ago. "You kept this." Her voice dropped to a whisper. Marcus nodded once, jaw tight. "Only thing I've been given in a long time that didn't come with strings." Kara's throat tightened. She wanted to speak, but the radio on her shoulder crackled. Sharp and urgent, Unit 27 child, missing. 9 hours gone. Temperature dropping. All units respond. Kara froze, eyes locking with Marcus. Ghost was already on his feet, nose twitching, body vibrating like a coiled spring. Marcus rose, something sparking alive behind the weariness. His voice carried the same clipped command that had stopped her in that first alley, where the call ripped through the night a 9-year-old boy, last seen at a neighborhood park, missing nearly 9 hours. temperature dropping into the 40s. Hypothermia wasn't a threat anymore. It was a countdown. Kara's cruiser skidded to a halt beside the playground, blue strobes painting the swings in ghostly arcs. Parents clutched each other at the barricade, faces white with terror. Officers combed the grass with flashlights, voices breaking as they shouted. Ethan Marcus stood at the edge, Ghost pressed tight against his leg. He didn't wait for permission. He knelt, palm pressed flat to the wet earth, body folding into the posture of a sniper lying prone on a rooftop. "Tracks," he muttered, his voice sharpened, losing its rasp. Small, dragging a little, like he was pulled. He pointed to faint indentations in the mud near the fence prints, half washed by rain but still visible. Fresh. Less than an hour. Ghost whined, nose working frantically. Marcus snapped his fingers sharp. Military cadence. The shepherd surged ahead, cutting across the playground, then halted near a rusted maintenance shed. His bark erupted, sharp and insistent. Kara's pulse spiked. She waved officers over, but Marcus was already moving. His shoulder slammed against the door, rust groaning. It held. "Stand back," Kara ordered. Baton striking the lock. The shackle snapped, door swinging wide. Inside, two wide eyes stared back, reflecting the flashlight beam. A boy, shivering, lips blue, tears streaking dirt down his cheeks. The parents' cries cracked the night as they rushed forward, collapsing around their son. Relief rippled through the search team, raw and staggering. But Kara's gaze never left Marcus. He stood apart, rain dripping from his hair, chest heaving like he'd just crawled out of Fallujah again. For him, this wasn't rescue, it was combat. Read the ground. Trust the dog. Bring one of your own home alive. Later, at the precinct. Kara's report landed on Captain Grant's desk. Missing child recovered alive thanks to Marcus Kane and Canine Ghost. The captain leaned back, skeptical. "We're not running a charity." "Lieutenant," Kara's jaw tightened. "He's not charity. He's a Marine. And tonight, he proved he has skills this city needs." Grant studied her, unimpressed. "What do you want me to do? Pin a medal on him?" "Give him a place," Kara shot back. "A purpose. He speaks Arabic and Spanish. Doesn't he use him? Translator, part-time, whatever. But don't throw away a man who just saved a child's life." The silence stretched, finally. Grant exhaled, long and reluctant. "Translator, part-time, nothing more." Kara allowed herself a smile. It wasn't victory, but it was a crack in the wall when she told Marcus. He said nothing at first, just sat with Ghost at his side, eyes fixed on the floor. "It's not charity," she whispered. "It's purpose." His eyes lifted slowly, haunted yet holding something new, something fragile. Hope. Months slipped by, and Marcus Kane was no longer just the ragged silhouette who had whispered warnings in a rain-slicked alley. He had found a place not behind a badge, not in uniform, but in something rarer purpose. Precinct 17 learned quickly that the man who haunted Ravenwood's underpasses had skills you couldn't teach. His gift with languages bridged walls between officers and immigrant families who'd spent years voiceless. His instincts, razor-sharp even under layers of weariness, spotted trouble before it spilled into the streets. And Ghost, the scarred shepherd who never left his side, became the precinct's silent sentinel, padding through the halls like a guardian no one dared question. But true recognition came one night under the bright, merciless lights of Ravenwood City Hall. The chamber was packed press, officers, city officials, families still shaken but grateful. Kara Holt stood beside him, spine straight, pride steady in her eyes. For once, Marcus couldn't fade into the shadows. The mayor himself called him forward. Cameras flashed. Applause rose. Marcus shifted uneasily at the podium, his shoulders tight beneath a clean but borrowed jacket. His fingers brushed the dog tags at his chest, the one relic of a life most had forgotten, the one truth he could never scrub away. His voice cracked on the first word. But then it steadied, the way a sniper steadies his breath before a shot. "I'm not a hero," he said. His eyes scanned the crowd. Hard and clear. "I'm just a Marine who was given a second chance. If you see anything in me, see this: there are men and women still out there on these streets, invisible, carrying wars no one asks about. They matter. Don't look away." Silence swallowed the hall. Then applause thundered, rising like a storm until the rafters shook. Kara's palms stung as she clapped harder than anyone, her chest tight with something more than pride. For Marcus. The sound wasn't praise, it was the sound of being seen again. Later, as the city lights shimmered on wet pavement, Kara walked beside him, and Ghost. For once, Marcus's stride was lighter. The weight of years eased just slightly. "Do you ever think about tomorrow now?" she asked quietly. He paused, watching Ghost nose along the curb, tail swaying. A smile tugged at his mouth. Small, tired, but real. "For the first time in years," he said. "I actually do." He had walked through war, through loss, through the silence of streets that didn't care, but with one act of courage, and one officer who refused to let him vanish. Marcus Kane found not just survival, but belonging. Because sometimes heroes don't wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear scars, and sometimes they rise from the shadows to remind us of the humanity we forget to see.